gonna stop being lazy. Yeah. And I became creative. And I learned how to create it. And now that pride's for me. So come see. Oh, come eat.
Welcome back to the Silver Lining Podcast. We're coming at you with a QuickSilver reaction after the Falcons' heartbreaking, devastating loss to the Commanders at 30-24 in overtime. How you feeling about it, Cam? Oh, excuse me. I'm your host, Sterlington. This is your co-host, Cam. Cam, how are you feeling about our disappointing loss today?
I'm feeling disappointed, yet hopeful for the future. Let's just say Terry bought himself another year.
Terry bought himself another year, man.
And there are some highs this week. I mean, there are some highs today. There are some highs. There are some lows. There are some things that need to be worked on. But overall, the hope is a little bit larger than the disappointment right now. So I'm not too upset.
You know what? That much is true. So with us as Falcons fans, let's be real. You know, over the last few years, the Falcons have had big games where, you know, their ability to win or control the division, to seize control of the division, and the Falcons come up small and against usually a pretty bad team. In this case, the Falcons did come up against a pretty good team, a playoff caliber team. We, excuse me, went in their building, really took it to them in the first half. In the second half, they really controlled the hell out of the clock, controlled the hell out of the ball with those first two drives they had. The heartbreaking part about the loss, and you know, I want to talk about the game a little bit before I start talking about the future because you never know, you know, right? Obviously, you know, it's seeming bleak right now, but it seemed bleak last week too. And so you never know. You just got to do what you can do, control what you control, and go from there, right? So, you know, in that second half, for me, the part that was devastating about how that second half went was, you know, we're going into that game. I think you pointed it out that Washington was one of the best teams in the league and going on these long 10 plus play drives that eat up huge amounts of clock, and it keeps the game short enough for them to manage with the defense that they bring out there, right? It sucked because we went out in the first half. We did a lot of what we wanted to do. We had to overcome a turnover that immediately turned into a score by them. Then, you know, we really got Bijan going, really got him establishing him, you know, giving Penix easy reads, and we were up ahead. But then in the first half, the second half, the first drive, we got a huge stop, but then we got one of the most inconsequential penalties as far as how it affected that individual play, but one of the most consequential penalties as far as how it impacted the game, and it was that illegal contact on Damone Harris, D'Angelo Malone, in coverage. You know, he nudged him way downfield. I guess it's illegal contact. It really didn't affect anything. So that's one of the things that sucked, and that's like one of the nightmare plays for me. When your team is in third and a million, and you're just like, hey, just don't do any stupid plays that's going to give them an automatic first down. We did that. It ended up turning into, I think, either a 14 or 15 play drive. And that's what really got Washington going. But like you said, you know, it was still a lot to be impressed by. There was times where we felt nervous about the team. The team got a red zone stop that was huge. Then the offense got to go back out there, and they were ice cold, but they were able to still put together a huge drive at the end with a couple of fourth down throws. Michael Penix, for the problems that he had today, on those big throws we had to have, he looked real good. And then he also hit a game time touchdown to Kyle Pitts. I know everybody was like ready to bury Kyle. So, you know, for people who are still holding on to hope for Kyle, for people who defending Kyle, whatever, I know that was big. You needed to see that because it was looking kind of rough. After what we had seen this year and what we saw from Kyle, and then he made that big play. But unfortunately, Washington got the ball in overtime, was able to march down. We had a chance, one last chance to get a stop, but unfortunately we didn't come through. So this is one of those games that if we're being real, this could be our season. All right. This will be the game that when it's all said and done, the Buccaneers are back in the driver's seat. Buccaneers got the Saints coming in their building. We got the Panthers coming in our building. We still need to win. The Bucs still need to lose. Maybe it will, maybe it won't happen. But we're not gonna focus on all the negatives, right? I know we were hoping to make the playoffs this year. It's been a long time coming. It's nothing short of disappointing not to do that. But also this was almost an impossible situation. We trot out a rookie quarterback, uh, second to last game of the year with the division on the line, and we say, all right, get us a playoff berth against a team that's been playing well while they're at home. It's your second start. You're still getting used to the guys you're playing with. But honestly, he showed us something. So, Cam, what you see out of Michael Penix Jr. tonight?
I saw a lot of upside. I saw a man who remained calm after some miscommunication on an interception in the first drive. I saw a man who relied on his playmakers, had no problem handing the ball off to Bijan, utilizing the run game, set up some play action, passing the ball to the boundaries a little bit. There were some things he needed to clean up a little bit, but overall, I saw a guy who had confidence, a guy who showed leadership, a guy who, given the circumstances, this was essentially a playoff game, and he played well. There, like I meant, I don't know if anybody listened to the bye week episode, but I did have us losing this game. I had us losing to Washington, us going 9-8 and missing the playoffs. Now, granted, that's still up in the air. The Bucs play the Saints at home, and the Saints are playing like the worst team in football right now, and half their team is hurt. So that's like, and it's like asking the Saints to win so the Falcons can make the playoffs. Really? So more than likely, this is our season. We went 9-8, and that sucks for draft pick wise. But hey, I mentioned earlier in the pod, Terry may have saved his job for another season by drafting Penix, because Penix looks good. He looks like he fits the part. When I look at a guy like the top quarterbacks, a guy who has that kind of confidence, the guys who fit the part, I'm looking at a guy who does. He has all the physical intangibles. He has a big arm. He makes great reads. He doesn't put the ball in danger. Hell, like look at some of the other quarterbacks who came out of their first year. Like look at Josh Allen. Granted, I'm not comparing Penix to Josh. They play two completely different styles, but as a passer, Josh was not that polished as Penix was coming out. Like I think Penix is a slightly better passer coming out of college. Granted, he did play for a couple extra years, but hey, I still like I'm a believer in his arm talent. Now, some of the things that he needs to work on, there were a few overthrows. Like there were a couple plays where like we had like some 1v1s and our guy beat the other guy. It's essentially a touchdown. He overthrew him. Now that's a good problem to have. It's way like because we've been Falcons fans for a long time. We played with Matt Ryan. We had Matt Ryan. We had a guy who was underthrowing guys a lot of times. Like it would piss us off. Like hit a guy in stride, that's a touchdown. Especially when we were like going through like the prototypical Falcons 20-20, but can't finish off drives, hitting field goals. Like, hey, finish. Like we need to hit those deep shots. So it's nice to have a guy who can hit those deep shots. Like I'm happy about that, and I think he can clean up his mechanics a little bit. Something like he can work on in the off season, and then we can. And also, it's a rapport thing with his receivers. Like this is only his second game starting. Like I've noticed that Kadero Hodge played a lot more. Now I'm thinking that's because Penix may have good rapport with him. Kadero Hodge doesn't necessarily play with the first team all the time. He probably plays with Penix a lot. So that's what I'm thinking as well. So there are also a few throws as well to the boundaries that look like they were like misplaced. So I'm like, you got to hit those throws. But hell, when it mattered the most, when we needed a play to be made, Penix made those plays. he hit those throws. He specifically looked for Drake, and I'm glad he's starting to get that relationship with him going because him and Drake were cooking. And he also he hit Mooney a couple of times. And hell, on that what 4th and 11, 4th and 12, the play we needed the most to send the game to OT, he hits Kyle Pitts, the guy who caused his first interception. That's a guy believing in his teammates. I fuck with that, man. I really do like that. So I hate that we lost this game because I really wanted to see guys like Grady Jarrett in the playoffs again. That's my dog, man. I got a Grady Jarrett. He's one of my favorite players. He's a staple. I hope he retires a Falcon. But I really wanted to see him make the playoffs. I really wanted to see some of our veteran guys make it. I really wanted to see like what Penix could do. So I'm a little disappointed in that. But hell, I'm not gonna count our chickens before they hatch. Anything can happen next Sunday. But hell no. But who knows? We'll see. But all in all, I like what I saw.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in lockstep with you. So, obviously losing is disappointing. There's nothing I can say to anybody to make you feel better about, the loss in a vacuum. I really wanted us to be able to get this win on prime time. In Penix's second game, let him get a lot of on the job learning. This was a game that, one of the things we had mentioned. So the defense had a couple of rough drives, but honestly, the defense did okay. I know they gave up 30 points. They gave up the game-winning touchdown in overtime. So if you go off of that and say, hey, the defense didn't really play well today, I got nothing to say, right? But it's a defense that we held Terry McLaurin to one catch for 5 yards today, so that was a great job by AJ Terrell. This is a team that I can't remember if we had 3 or 4 sacks. I hadn't gotten a chance to look at the official box score, but we did appear to have 3 or 4 sacks on Jaden Daniels. And honestly, the biggest issue that we had was the issue you have when you face a running quarterback that the other team, the opposing team, has a huge willingness to let run, right? Because when we watched this game, when we needed to stop Brian Robinson, we stopped Brian Robinson. Honestly, if we if we would have got a slightly bigger lead, this game would look completely different. So the reason why I point to that D'Angelo Malone illegal contact penalty as pretty much the turning point in the game was that that play basically extended that drive. But I think, we could have gotten the ball back, and if we could have scored, we could have turned Washington into more of a straight drop back team, and that's where that team can be exposed at. When we put them in straight drop back situations, like on that drive they needed at the end of the game, after we got to 4th and 12, that drive that they needed, they couldn't get that. Because now we
Mm-hmm.
didn't have to worry about all of this. Oh, is he running? Is he throwing? Is it a run play with, he's handing off to somebody? He's doing. Nah, it's straight drop back. And we was able to put the clamps on them, you know. Um, Another disappointing part, the other part that really turned the game for me, because I knew the defense was getting tired after those back-to-back 15 and 14-yard drives. I was like, oh my God, your defense gonna get tired. Like we gotta score, and we gotta score on a long drive, give our defense a chance to catch their breath. And fortunately we were able to do that. But then at the end, what was so unfortunate, the heartbreaker, the part that really makes you feel like you got your heart ripped at your chest, was that Riley Patterson missed a 56-yard field goal, not by virtue of accuracy, but by not kicking the ball deep enough. You know, but Riley Patterson, he's not here because he was the guy you was running with the whole year. He's the guy here because your previous kicker was hurt, who was hurt. So you had to put in Patterson. At that point, that's when you're having a backup in instead of your starter in hurts a little bit. Your backup showed you why he the backup. All right. But yeah, as far as grading Penix's performance, one of the things I like was, obviously he threw that pick on a miscommunication on the first drive of the game. And then Washington scored. That's a chance where you say, hey, are you gonna come back and you're gonna show the team, that you can come back from adversity. And he did that. That happened. Now he did miss on a few throws. And he missed by overthrow, like you pointed out. Now, on our bye week episode, and I might highly encourage you go back and watch that one. A lot of these podcasts don't hold value from game to game because obviously, we're reacting to the game as they go. But the bye week had a lot of our off-season takes as well. One of the things I said about Penix when we had him was that I scouted every throw he ever had in college from Indiana to Washington. And overthrows were an issue. So we're not seeing something that's like jitters or something. I don't want anybody to get it in their head that, that's just something that's happened this game because he had nerves or nothing. No, he had a little bit of overthrows. That is going to happen. That is something that he might have to get with a private QB coach to fix. But everything else we saw tonight with regards to his ability to read the field, with regards to when the game is on the line, you need him to make big plays, and he was making them. That is also a part of Penix's DNA. All right, you're gonna have some plays from time to time where he overthrows, and he's gonna have to learn, because some of those plays might not have been overthrown if he put a little air under him and give his guy a chance to get under him. Penix like to try to put it on him in stride. As a part of that, putting it on him in stride and how they score is that he get the ball to them in a hurry, and while they're running away, so that they can catch the ball and start running, and so that's one of the things you get. But in this game, we saw that his rapport was a little bit off with guys, and it showed. But in a lot of the big drives where you needed to see that, he was able to make those plays, and he was able to make them with the usual suspects in Drake London and with Darnell Mooney, and he was able to get that going again with some of the unusual suspects. Like, well, we'll call Pitts an unusual suspect. We never know. Sometimes Pitts actually is. I still think he's a talented guy. I just think we got to use him the right way. And thank God he had the catch he had, because boy, let me tell you, that all we would have needed was for him to drop that pass. Oh.
Oh my
Boy, them
God,
boys, them
the
boys would have been
pitchforks
waiting
was
for Pitts
out.
at the airport, boy, with pipes in hand. Them was like, well, Pitts, I see you came back, huh? We're gonna break your legs, Pitts. You're not gonna take our money next year. But but look, honest to God, this is you couldn't ask for too much more from Penix given the situation. All right. He's got receivers that he hadn't been playing with all year, going against a team that knows exactly how they want to play and how they want to win. And when things got hard and when you started falling behind, he showed you that if you get the stop, he'll be able to keep you in the game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that was a great experience for him, a great experience for the team. Now there were some things about the team that I hope changes. I was a little shaky on how I felt about Raheem used his timeouts. I
Oh
was
my
not a
God, that's what I can complain about. Like as far as the players, I can't really I can't ask for much more from the team. But as far as time management, Raheem, we need to have a conversation
yeah.
because you are a little too stingy with these timeouts.
Yeah.
You like to hold on to them, like my precious. Like you're a little too Smeagol-esque with these timeouts.
Hey, he like a dragon sleeping on a pile of gold, man. Like, hey, bro, you got to let them timeouts go at certain times.
Like, hey, there was a moment in that in the first half where we kicked the field goal to go up 17-7. We could have called a timeout a little bit earlier, say maybe like 20 or 30 seconds on the clock. And it could have had a little bit more time to maybe potentially go for a touchdown. We settled for 3. We were moving the ball. We were doing whatever we wanted to Washington on defense, or to their defense. And then to do the exact same thing in the second half,
Yeah.
we had the ball 40 seconds. First play, first down. There are 30 seconds on the clock. 30 seconds on the clock. I'm looking at it.
And how much of that time ran off,
And
sir?
we had 2 timeouts. 2 timeouts. 2 timeouts, man. And then my first thought process is immediately call a timeout.
I'm like, I did this actively.
And then he says, no, we're going to run it. And I'm just like, as I'm watching this, I'm like, are we the Bears?
Yeah,
No,
yo.
because I'm like, is this Caleb Williams and the Bears? Is Matt Eberflus our head coach? Why the
The
fuck
part
would you call a timeout?
So the part that's most disappointing about that for me, if I'm being real now, is that one of the things I was looking forward to having a coach with previous head coaching experience is that you have a good feel for when you need to call a timeout. That was definitely to me a time you needed to call a timeout because the next play gives you several opportunities for something good to happen. You either get a catch and go out of bounds, you get an incomplete pass that'll also stop the clock, so you don't have to worry about that. You get a complete pass, then fine, you can hurry up then or take a timeout. It's just a lot of different ways for things to work out that I felt like um we didn't take advantage of. And it's so funny how things go. So one of the things about how it ended was I think on right before the field goal, we had two back-to-back plays. One play where Penix overthrew London that in a yardage mark that could have been a shorter field goal. But then on the next one, he goes to Mooney. Mooney dusting this guy grab him. We get the PI, right? And oh, woo. This is where it get hard just so y'all know to make content. This is where it get hard to make a podcast. Because I gotta admit, when that kick went up and it was straight as an arrow, I was like, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Oh, he missed it. It was short. And
By
I
like
knew it was
five
short because
yards,
it didn't
dude.
even come close to hitting any
By like 5 yards,
crossbars.
and that's why I'm pissed. Why don't you call a timeout with 30 seconds left when you know your kicker got a baby leg?
Like my thing too
And not that kind of
was
baby leg.
a baby arm clutching an apple.
Like, come on, dog. He was 5 yards short from 56. Come
Yeah,
on,
I'm like,
dude.
bro, you don't even really got an NFL leg. Like, how
You know what
old
I'm
are
saying? Like,
you?
he cost us 2 plays. By not calling that timeout, he cost us 2 additional plays to get even closer. When you know
At least one, yeah.
your kicker doesn't have a leg like that. He doesn't have a
Did
big leg.
did we end regulation with a timeout? Yeah, I think we ended regulation with a timeout.
I believe so. I think we had one
So
timeout left, dog.
when you end regulation with a timeout in that situation, it feels like and honestly, we made jokes about this on the last one, but I feel like we left a lot of meat on the bone today.
And that's the thing that's disappointing because it was
Yeah.
personal errors. Granted, that defensive illegal touching, that was a killer because they like went
That
down.
that that that, that was a killer.
That sucked. But
We
man,
we we, we could have
our
got the ball
defense made,
back. We could have got the ball back
yeah.
and possibly went up either 20-7 or 24-7.
And that would have been game.
And that would have forced them into more of a hurry up offense. That would have forced them to not lean on the run as much and milk the clock because clock's their enemy. Because now we up, almost 17 points. So that would have been 3 scores. That could have changed the game. But that penalty was huge. Look, honestly, this was a tough game because when you talk about there's a lot of things you can talk about that lose you the game, right? The inability to get off the field on third and fourth downs. You can point to Michael Penix's inaccuracy on certain plays that left a lot of meat on the bone, but you can also really just bring it down to 3 things. Raheem's timeout usage. I don't even necessarily want to call it full clock management because I understood part of why he was nervous. He was scared about us scoring too early and Jaden Daniels getting the ball back and going down the field. But at some point, you got to say,
Not
fuck
with
that.
30 in the
That's
second
what I'm
half,
saying.
not with 30
At some
seconds
point,
left.
you got to say, screw that.
In the
Screw
third,
that. Hey.
hell no.
Hey,
I'm not
either
thinking about
we
that
score
under a
now
minute.
or we just losing.
I'm not
You know what
even
I'm saying?
thinking about that under a minute.
I'm
I'm
not
even
thinking about it at all.
Especially on our side of the field. Hell no, there's 30 seconds left. And we haven't even gotten to the field goal range yet. I'm not even thinking about that yet.
Not even remotely. You know what I'm
Like
saying? But
the fact
the
that
game I said the game came down to the timeout misusage and mismanagement. That illegal contact play by D'Angelo Malone and that missed game-winning field goal by Riley Patterson. Those three plays really, were the plays or the decisions that held his team back in this game,
Man, and it's like this one
held
feels
them back from victory.
this one feels more like we lost more than they won.
A little bit, yeah.
Like I'm more disappointed in if I had to put the loss on anyone, I'm damn near I'm probably putting it more on Raheem than anyone today. Just because I missed that time mismanagement, man. Granted,
Um,
Penix made some mistakes too, but I'm not gonna put that loss on him.
I'm with you, but that to me that illegal contact penalty
Oh,
that one
that
did
was
it for me.
egregious,
Like
man.
we watched the game live. Obviously, it's 12:28 East Coast time in America. In case you just happen to be from wherever and y'all use a different time, the East Coast time, whatever. But New York Standard Time, as they say. But look, man, that play was a killer. That was a play where when it was 3rd and 30, all I said was just nobody do anything stupid. Just nobody do anything stupid. And we got this. We good. They're not getting 3rd and 30. And or 3rd and 26, whatever. I can't remember what it was. But no. I think it was 3rd and 30. I think the 26 is me thinking about us running that play to Bijan that got snapped over his head, and then it went back to the 26. Another shout out that we got to give too. I know we down, and y'all know how I am. I start talking one thing and get distracted, but we were totally in 2nd and 26. Well, 2nd and goal from the 26, and needed to score a touchdown to keep the game alive,
And did it.
and did it.
That's
And
what I'm
did
saying,
it.
bro. That's what I'm saying. That pass was beautiful. The
That's what I'm saying.
anticipation.
I'm like, look. You got something to be happy about. Now I know we upset that we lost. I know. Me too. Nobody is more upset than us right now. I assure you. I mean, unless you bet your house on this game, you shouldn't have did that shit.
It's
You
the
shouldn't have
Falcons.
did
Come
that.
on, baby.
Yeah, what were you thinking? You ain't a real fan if you did that. I'm like, where the hell you been all this time betting your house on the Falcons? What was you thinking? But drop my mic. But uh look, that was the exact type of play that hell, even this year, when Kirk Cousins when we played the Saints and Kirk Cousins got sacked and the ball flew all the way back there, and then Jake jumped on top of it. That's basically the same thing.
Essentially,
Except this time, you made something happen. You know what I'm saying? And like, heck, maybe for all you know, look, the reason why I pointed to those three plays is because the margin of error in the NFL is this thin. I
razor.
do this. This is an inch. This is about an inch. And I say that because it's the reason they call it a game of inches. One play here, one play there is the difference between winning and losing. But ask yourself this. A few weeks ago, when we were still starting Kirk Cousins and we hadn't had any passing touchdowns and we had a bunch of turnovers, tell me you looked at this game on the schedule and thought we was getting smacked up. You know what I'm
I
saying?
did. I
You
did.
did, right? This is a game where you look at it and your defense still played decent. They ended up giving 30 points when it went to overtime, but the defense wasn't altogether bad. It just was one of those games where the team that had a player like Jaden Daniels just hurt you because we really got hurt a lot on those quarterback runs where he escapes some pressure and get a bunch of yardage because we playing man coverage, or those plays where they faking it to a back and now he running outside, and that because he's the quarterback that gives them one extra blocker to try to stop a run, to try to spring something, and oftentimes it did. And if we being real, Jaden Daniels is faster than everybody in the front seven. So when you don't have a DB on him, yeah, your DB's getting caught. And it was tough, man. But look, the team is showing you it's got places to go. Right now, this team got a young nucleus, at least on offense. You know, you got a young rookie, like when you talk about rookie contracts, you got your quarterback, you got your running back, you got your number one receiver. You know, we'll see. I'm not gonna put no words in nobody's mouth, but you got your tight end. You know, you got a couple of linemen set up. Like the team is not altogether washed. All right. You got more to look forward to than you had probably over the last 7 years, I would say. No, maybe five. Maybe you still had hope in 2018. Because let's be real, we still had hope in 2018. Like 2017, how that playoff game ended with Philly, you still thought, okay, one more year under Sark, and all of that. And the offense was better, to be fair. The defense just wasn't as good, and then there was a lot of injuries. But outside of 2018, you ain't had nearly as much to look forward to as you do now.
You are absolutely right, my friend.
Yo,
We haven't, because even when I go back and think to when we decided to start Ritter, I'm like, oh, who knows? Maybe who knows what we'll get. In the back of my mind, I kind of always knew that, like, it's a more chance that he's not it than he is, as opposed to Penix. I'm like, there's more chance that he is it than he's not. I'm not gonna count my chickens before they hatch. There's still more tape to be seen. There's still more football to be played.
that is.
But from what I've seen, Penix has shown that he has all the attributes to be the guy. He has the arm talent. He makes some mistakes. He makes some overthrows, but it's not something that I don't think can't be corrected. I think he can go to a QB specialist, QB coach, work on some of his mechanics. And he can clean some of that up. Because at the end of the day, when you need a guy to make plays when it matters the most, what did Penix do? He made them.
He made
He
him.
made those plays. He made them to Drake. He made them to Pitts. He made them to Mooney. He got his guys the ball when it mattered the most, man. Like there are some things he needs to clean up. But as a whole, like I really liked what I saw. And you made a good point. Our nucleus is young. And guess what? Penix is in year one of his contract. Year
Yep.
one. We don't have to pay him for what, 3-4 more years? If we take on his 5th-year option, we got essentially 4 more years of a QB on a rookie deal. That's nice. We can build around our nucleus with Drake and Bijan, Pitts. The jury is still out on him. I'm more of a Pitts truther, but I know some people are not. But hey, we'll see. If we got to cut ties to pay other people, I understand. But if we can keep him, I want us to keep him.
Yeah.
As far as defense goes, I think this is kind of getting ahead of it. I think we'll probably do it. Probably be like, I think it'll be a trench heavy draft this year. I think we'll maybe not on defense because we got some guy. We spent this past draft getting guys in the trenches. Hell, we got Braylon Trice who hasn't even played yet because he's been hurt from an ACL.
That's right.
I'm looking forward to having him come back. That's like a new signing, kind of. So
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So like I think we'll probably get like another guy on the offensive line. Probably get another DB, maybe another receiver. But all in all, you said it the best, man. Our team is in a good place. We have hope, something we haven't had in a while. It's kind of reminiscent of that 8-8 season we had right before 2016, where we started off 5-0, and then kind of shit the bed, and then we kind of we finished 8-8. We're like, damn, dog, we really kind of shit the bed like that. New head coach, new OC. I'm thinking something similar. I'm not saying it's gonna be a repeat like that, but I'm thinking we're gonna have like a nice little offensive resurgence on our team next year. We'll have a little bit more chemistry. We'll have some better guys. I'm talking about next year already, man. Let's just keep it on. Let's keep it on topic, man. All in all, I see the silver lining. I see where our team can potentially go, and I'm excited.
Look, man, I'm right with you. And look, I don't blame you for doing some looking forward to. You might have to. That might be the positivity that you get. But the positivity is also in that there is something to look forward to. Right? Now I'm more of the mindset of the Falcons. I think cornerback might be the position the Falcons want to target in the first round. I cannot believe I'm saying that. I cannot believe I am not saying take an edge rusher. I cannot believe that. If you no fucking way you could have told me a month ago I wasn't gonna be saying that. But I think that's a big one. Another position too we might want to look at is linebacker, man. This game is supposed to be the kind of game that a guy like Troy Anderson could help you with. And Troy, he's a raw prospect. He was always going to need some work, but Troy would have been the kind of linebacker who you can use his speed to try to contain a guy like Daniels. But he's hurt a lot, and he missed this game, and his instincts not quite where they need to be. So that might be something worth looking at too. But like we said, team has a lot of youth and a lot of explosiveness on offense. It's about whether or not Zach Robinson's going to be your guy. This is a game where you saw that the play calling was definitely influenced by who he had pulling the trigger. Him having Michael Penix back there, yeah, I noticed that it looked different than it did when Kirk was there. Now, maybe some of that was Zach Robinson trying to make it seem like he wasn't the problem when Kirk was in. And I'm like, yeah. You making sure real hard that you show some variety now, right? I see a lot of motions now. I'm seeing a lot of these play action concepts. But some of these play actions, I feel like you could have been running with Kirk. But you know what, though? That's neither here nor there. Michael Penix, the guy. So that's what we're going to focus on. And it's going to be up to Zach to pull this shit together and help these guys put together an offense. Now, I expect this offense next year to be scoring at least 26 points a game.
Oh,
all right.
Sure.
Right. And then with your defense, you seem to have figured something out. It was time to look at extending Caden Ellis. Caden Ellis going into his last year of the contract next year. And I think I cannot wait to do one of my off-season episodes. I can't wait to do. One of the things I want to do, we're going to do like milk or wine or something, see how it aged.
Ooh,
Because, yeah, right? And I'm not going to lie. It's certain takes I had at Caden Ellis. I want to go back over because I damn sure they age like milk. Caden Ellis is looking like that guy. He is him. So, when you signed Caden Ellis, you didn't think he was going to be the guy that he was for you. Or you actually kind of did, but now he's been even better with us than we thought he would be. So just, just bear with it. The beautiful parts about sports is that as long as you're alive, there's always next year. You know what? It's been 38 minutes, almost 40 minutes. It's late, and I know it's a lot easier to listen to these when the Falcons are coming off a W, but that's not the case this time. But it's not all bad. So, anything you want to add before we get out of here, Cam?
Yeah, you made a good point about Zach. The play calling was a bit better. One thing I will say is, if Penix hits those throws, this game is a little bit different. But hey, that's neither here nor there. I think that can be corrected. So all in all, I'm in the same boat as you. We are on the optimistic train, and we're keeping it pushing, man. On the next week, I think we'll handle business against the Panthers, but we'll talk a little bit more about that in the preview episode. And our fate lies in the hands of the New Orleans Saints. Hey, with that being said, hey, I'm on the next season.
Hey, look here, brother. We ain't worried about the black and gold. In this podcast, all we worried about is the silver lining, and we got that. So ain't nothing much more to say about that. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, hit the little bell when you want to know some real niggas uploading. Thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate that. Peace.